Well, we've got a pretty interesting update for Beyond the Spider-Verse from one of its key actors. Recently, Jake Johnson, who plays Peter B. Parker, gave us a little bit of insight on how much dialogue he's actually recorded for the film, and that alone tells us where the film is at in the production process. So let's talk about what he said, what it ultimately reveals, and why I actually think this means that long wait for Beyond the Spider-Verse will indeed be happening. Now, before we do that though, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and ring the bell for all the updates. We do daily Marvel and DC videos, and we want to be your place for all the superhero news, but we're going to bring it to you truthfully and transparently, so you are really in the know. Well, it's been a pretty well-known established fact that Beyond the Spider-Verse will indeed receive a much later release date than originally anticipated. Actually, it was supposed to come our way early this year, but right after Across the Spider-Verse was released, we found out the project was in early production, and at that time it sounded like it could be delayed, but eventually Sony moved it to a to-be-determined release date, suggesting, well, quite honestly, we got a long wait in front of us. Now, recently, we got a bit of an update from actor Jake Johnson, and in case you didn't know, he actually voices Peter B. Parker, and made it pretty clear he hasn't recorded anything yet. That's right, none of his dialogue has been recorded at this time. Now, he was asked directly about what's done on the film, and in an interview with CinemaBlend, he actually said, nothing. Well, I will say I can't say anything about the release date, but I will say with recording of actors, things can go fast, so my not recording truly means nothing. If you find out the animators hadn't started animating, that's a different thing, but there's really no breaking news from a voiceover actor, even if we try to break it. Like, I did a movie for Wildwood Studios. I might be saying that wrong. If I am, I feel embarrassed, but I recorded my entire role in one day. Now, Johnson is likely referring to a role in the upcoming Laika Studios stop-motion animation Wildwood, but it's completely curious to me that he made it pretty clear he recorded the part in one day, and that's not unusual. One of the most widely followed conventions in animation in general is that the audio comes first, and that's followed by animation. Before animation can be complete, voice performers will record all of their lines, and the lines themselves provide animators with the timing and emotional cues that are pretty vital to making animation feel real. It's very typical to have only, well, preliminary sketches or storyboards accessible while the part is being recorded. And this allows for a ton of improvisation and flexibility from the actor, bringing those characters to life a little bit better, and then they add the corresponding animation to closely follow the flow of language and character expression. Quite often, studios like Disney and Pixar record all the dialogue first, and then this is all layered in after. Now, alternatively, sometimes studios will use amateur voice actors to record dialogue, and that's used to give animators some reference. This is often called scratch. And utilizing this method, the real actors are then able to come back, record their lines after the animation is complete. However, a big budget like Beyond the Spider-Verse is very unlikely to use this strategy, because quite honestly, it's not as effective as having the lines recorded first. With a production of this size and cost, it would be really weird for them to be hiring animators to work on anything except the actual project, and that requires the voice to be cast. Now, Peter B. Parker did take a backseat in Across the Spider-Verse, but that cliffhanger at the end of the film suggests that he's going to come back in a big way. Lord and Miller have promised a satisfying conclusion to the series, and honestly, this has been Sony's best Spider-Man outing ever, and I am really looking forward to the film, but I hope they take their time to get it right, because this isn't something that needs to be rushed. If they do, they could screw it up, and that would be a disaster, considering how well the first two films were received.